This is Jonathan Aguiar, fifth Pro Boxing fans, joined by British heavyweight champion Richard Riakporhe. Richard, how's life going?
Life is going good. Can't complain. Enjoying the sun. I'm abroad at the minute and just having a little break. So yeah, all is good.
Nice. Did you catch the fight on Saturday night? I'm sure you did. Wardley Dubois.
Yeah, I did catch the fight. That was one of the best fights I've seen. British heavyweight fight.
What did you think going in? Who did you think was going to win before?
I was kind of leaning to Wardley, but I knew that for him to win that fight, I think he needed to take away Dubois' jab, and I feel like if he doesn't do that, then it's going to be really difficult for him to fight. So it was like kind of like a 50-50 for me, but I was just leaning more towards Woodley.
When you saw Dubois go down in the first round, did you think that was it? Wardley was going to pounce on him and the fight was over?
Yeah, I actually did think that. I thought, yep. I actually thought, if Woodley has a chance, he has to take him out from 1 to 5,
Hmm.
and he can get out of there. Anything after that is going to be difficult, I think, because as we saw, he kept it nice and simple. He used his footwork. He was on the jab, throwing them right hands, and he wasn't getting too greedy either, which was very great on his behalf. I think that's it shows he's definitely improved and he's benefited from the experience that he's had so far in the ring. So
A lot of people have said, like, obviously Dubois kind of dominated from round four onwards, and people were saying that Wardley should have been pulled out. What's your take on that whole thing of, whether he should or shouldn't have been pulled out?
yeah, 100%. He should have definitely been pulled out. When you watch the fight, as we were watching it from the outside, we could see the damage being taken by Fabio. And one of the telling signs was when he came out, I think it was in round 9, and he was staggering, like literally, he was just swaying side to side. If you know boxing, you know that that was concussive jet damage. Obviously, his face looked busted up, but that's more concussive. And I think anything after that will be even more damaging when he gets to that point. When you're swaying side to side, which is why referees weigh off the fight when they see you know, their legs kind of like do a funny kind of spasm because they know everything else is going to be really damaging to the brain. So, but they let him continue. That was crazy. I was shouting at the screen like, "Stop the fight! Stop the fight!" At the same time, it's easy to criticize Ben Davis and his cornermen because at the end of the day, don't you remember he won the fight against Justice Hooney in the 11th round when he was getting beaten up pretty much for most of the fight. So we have to base it on what they've seen before, what they've seen in the gym, and how he's able to survive and still try to find a way to land a big shot. And on top of that, throughout the fight, all the way till the end, he was still throwing bombs. He was still throwing bombs all the way through, and he didn't literally just take a barrage of shots without answering back at all. He was still answering back, but he was just taking damage throughout the course of it. But yeah, that's boxing.
I've seen like some people saying about, Wardley's future after that. I think Barry McGuigan said seconds out that he doesn't even think Wardley should fight again. What do you think? Do you think we'll see Wardley back again?
He should definitely fight again. I think that's a bit extreme for him to say that. It's a bit extreme. It's fresh. Obviously, he took a lot of damage. We know that, but there's no way we can tell until the next fight. The
Mm.
next fight, that's where you can really assess if you should continue or not. And obviously, the level of the opponent is going to be very crucial. It's going to be very important. But no, I don't think he should retire now. I wouldn't say he's getting started, but yeah, he's definitely his mileage is going to be way up for sure. And I don't think he's going to be the same after that type of damage that he took. But he can definitely come back. There's different levels in boxing. You can fight at world level, you can fight European level, fringe world, you can fight at domestic level. You can move around, and obviously that's gonna determine the level of opponent you're facing and the dangerousness, or even fight non-punches.
You and Dubois, what do you think of that fight?
That'll be one of the best fights in the history of the heavyweight division. Two big punches. Um, and obviously my experience as well in boxing has definitely helped me to kind of maneuver around fighters like himself. Plus, I got power. It'd be crazy. It'd be crazy. They've been talking about this from when I just moved up to heavyweight. So I'm already 3 fights in, and everybody wants to see these type of fights. So yeah, man, I'm all for
Yeah, I mean, they said don't blink on Saturday. I don't know what they'd call you against Dubois. Something similar, surely.
it. The cat and the mongoose.
They wouldn't need judges for that. Richard, talk to me about you've sparred Dubois in the past. Am I right in saying that?
I haven't actually.
You haven't.
Me and Dubois, once upon a time, we was at the same amateur gym, and funnily enough, he was like, I was like light heavyweight in the amateurs, and he was like, in the schoolboys, like it's literally in the schoolboys. It was tiny. He was like half my size. Then, like years later, I heard he's on the GB squad and he's a heavyweight. It's me, what? Somebody told me that. I was shocked until I saw him, his size and stuff like that. But it makes sense because even in the gym, I remember like seeing his dad in the gym, and his dad used to always say to me, "Oh man, what's your name? You look like a champion," because of my size and my aesthetic makeup, like and But yeah, his dad was always big, so it made sense that he was going to be big one day. But yeah, he's flying now.
What do you think of him against Moses?
I think Moses would could win that fight. I would lean towards Moses to win that fight, and it's because him being faster, being a southpaw as well. I think being a southpaw is tricky for every fighter. We're not used to fighting southpaws every day. We go against orthodox right-hand fighters, so he already is an advantage compared to us.
Hmm.
And obviously we've seen how he's performed against other southpaws like Usyk. So we can use that as a kind of benchmark. But at the same time, it's not one way. It's not one way. It's definitely not one way. And we can see the way he can whack. You can see his right hands straight. He knows what he's doing, and it just takes good positioning and one shot, and then it's over. Nobody knows if Moses can take that type of damage, and continue like the way Fabio done. So it's high risk. It's very risky. And on top of that, if he does come through, he can't really go back down the levels, if you know what I mean. Maybe you can get one voluntary defense and get easy, but people are going to be trying to take your head off for that title. I'm telling you, that title means a lot to us. We'll do. We're ready to put it all on the line, our lives on the line for that title. That's the reality. And that's what you saw on Saturday. That's a normal thing for us fighters. I think, especially now, the generation of fighters have changed, and people are like hungry. Like we're all hungry. Like we're ready to do whatever we need to do to get ourselves, cemented in history in the books, man.
Hmm.
And the other guys at the top, they've done it now. So I don't understand how it's go- it's going to be hard to kind of go against these type of fighters, if you know what I mean. When you've accomplished it, you're gonna have to find something else deep within you to give you that hunger and that desire to go against some of these hungry fighters that's never experienced being a world champion like myself.
Now, you had a great win over TKV not that long ago. Just reflect a bit on that performance and winning the British title.
So yeah, that was a good performance. I feel like I could have done better for sure. I had some opportunities there really early. If I got it right, I could have ended the fight earlier. But I don't mind you know I don't mind doing some rounds as well, because if you check how many rounds I've done, I haven't done a lot of rounds as a professional. I think I've done probably 100 compared to some of these other guys that's done probably double. So I had to kind of learn how to like win rounds, in my short career. Um, so yeah, we got the rounds. I was able to establish my jab. I think I have one of the best jabs in the heavyweight division, and I think people start to realize that soon. But yeah, it was good. We executed the plan and we got the job done. And big respect to Jeamie TKV. Before the fight, I knew he could potentially be very tricky. He could box. We saw him against Adelaide. In my opinion, he won pretty much all the rounds before that weird incident. You know, and I still viewed him as a champion, even though that controversial knockout, occurred. I still viewed him as a champion because I feel like it was a fault of the referee. It was the referee's why he got knocked out. Received that left hook, but yeah, and he can box. So, so yeah, he's a great fighter, man. He's a great fighter. And big respect to him, like I said.
And obviously you want Dubois, obviously, and all the big names. If it's not him, who else are you looking at?
Looking at I want to have a look at this Hergovich fight. Maybe the winner of that as well.
Hmm.
Um, there's already been talk to me being on the AJ card as well, so we can do one of these big fights on the card. So yeah, it's looking bright. Um, for the boxing fans, they can look forward to some big fights with me participating in them and them being entertaining, which is the most important. Because one thing that I've noticed about this boxing is everybody wants to get the bag and then you know and not give the fans the value for money. And I didn't really understand, you know, the British fans. I started to understand that they just want to see a fight. That's all. They want to see they want to see a fight. Like go for it, show intent, show passion. And when I started to understand that, I realized, you know what? Instead of trying to get the money and go, give them something for it. And then they're gonna keep on supporting you and keep on and ever since I started that, like I just switched on that type of mentality. Everything has changed. Like I've got more support. People are more interested to watch me fight. You know, and that's what it is. I just want to be in them type of exciting fights, and definitely not trying to take them that damage that they're taking on the weekend. But what I'm saying, the game is to hit and get hit. I'm gonna be doing the damage for sure.
Yeah, well, so many big fights ahead. What is that? 2 months away. Hopefully you get on that Joshua card. So yeah, Richard, all the best, mate, and look forward to seeing you back in the ring soon.
Appreciate that, man.